Hare Krishna, children. I hope all of you all are excited to hear some more stories from our history. So we have with us His Grace Prahladpriya Prabhu, who's taken out his precious time for all of you. Many of you know him. I'm sure he's our very able counselor of our Shri Radha Gopinath Samaj. And he's taken out his precious time. He has a lovely daughter, Shriji, and both Mataji and Prabhuji are counselors. They guide so many young devotees and adults. And we are so happy to have Prabhuji here with us. Thank you so much, Prahladpriya Prabhu. Over to you. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Are you all able to hear me?
Yes, Prabhuji, you're audible.
Great. Okay, thank you. And are you all able to see the screen as well?
Yes, Prabhuji, all good. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll start with today's session. And thank you very much, Radhika Keshwari Mataji and Prabhuji, for giving an opportunity to share some thoughts on the life and teachings of Shivaji Maharaj. Actually, one of the topic which is often debated in Maharashtra is about Shivaji Maharaj birth date and birthplace as well, because there are just so many historic records about him. So there are three possible dates of Shivaji Maharaj's birthday which are given. And of course, the most authentic English calendar date is treated as 19th February 1629. That is considered as the English calendar date. But about his tithi, that means the Vedic date, there are many confusions. But people often believe that today's day, which is Akshay Tritiya, is one of the possible tithis of his appearance as well. So Akshay Tritiya is not only appearance of the great Parshuram, who is the one of the most valiant warrior incarnation of Lord Krishna, but also of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, who almost descended as a warrior king when the country needed him the most. So we will begin with our presentation. Of course, I had in my mind that some of you would be quite older in age when I prepared this presentation. And that's how I chose this name of Am I Living the Legacy? And I wanted to focus more on the teachings of Shivaji Maharaj. But then I realized that most of you would actually like to hear some stories about him. Now, when you want to learn about Shivaji Maharaj, you take to the books which are available for normal school topics as history topics. And you would probably pick up some books of the NCERT syllabus, or you would pick up the books of the SSC board or the ICSC syllabus. And there would be certain things about the time before Shivaji Maharaj, which are not often very explicitly given. So before we actually begin to understand the contribution of Shivaji Maharaj, it is important to know how the situation was bad before Shivaji Maharaj. Just like for you to really appreciate the incarnation of Lord Krishna, it was important to know how horrible was Kamsa and what sort of atrocities Kamsa was doing on the people of Mathura, and practically the people of in and around Mathura and India as well. Actually, Kamsa was collecting all different demons, and he was creating a very powerful force by which he could actually attack even demigods and conquer them. And so practically every demon, whether it is Hiranyakashipu, whether it is Ravana, whether it is Kamsa, their goal is to basically to prove their leadership by creating absolute anarchy and absolute chaos in the life of people who want to sweetly and happily, continue with their life. And very much was the situation before the appearance of Shivaji Maharaj in Maharashtra as well. And for how many years? It was for 300 old years that Maharashtra was in absolute darkness. But how did all it begin? Was Maharashtra always like that? I want to show you a small picture which Baba Saheb Purandare gives in his book. But before I go to that, I want to just give my attributions and Okay, so first let's begin with this. So pre-Shivaji era, pictures that speak it all. On the right side, you see something very spooky uh, environment, but on the left side, you see something very, very beautiful. And I will come to the attributions part little later, but let's begin with this particular slide. So this picture is taken from Baba Saheb Purandare's book, and what you see is a very beautiful, cultured woman, very gracefully standing and staring at the opulence and the gorgeous arrangements of the Maharashtra kingdom. And this lady actually represents the opulence of the land of Maharashtra. If you know, when Lord Ramchandra visited Maharashtra, it was known as Dandakaranya. It was a place of all jungle. But after, because of the lotus feet of Lord Ramchandra touched the holy land, the land actually became very, very, very auspicious and very, very, very prosperous. Just like in India, there are many holy places. Even in Maharashtra, there are various holy places. The wonderful place of Pandharpur, which is considered as almost like, Dwarka, is there in Maharashtra. The place which is called Vai, which is considered like Kashi or Varanasi, is there in Maharashtra. The only Maharashtra also has the honor of holding once in 12 years the Kumbh Mela, which happens on the bank of Godavari in Nasik. So Maharashtra is a very, very, very powerful spiritual place. And some of the great saints in the history have appeared in the land of Maharashtra. You know of Gnaneshwar Maharaj, Tukaram, and Eknath, and Namdev, and then at the time of Shivaji Maharaj, there was Ramdas Swami, and then the list goes on. And because of great saintly influence and great auspiciousness, the land was full of opulence and prosperity. But it did not continue for long. In year 1294 AD, something bad happened. This beauty and opulence and the grace of Maharashtra was attacked. Who was the person who actually did this? Well, none other than this person. Now, are you able to see his face? Or is my screen covered with something? Are you able to see this person?
No, yes,
Who was the
perfect.
first person to attack Maharashtra?
Yes, we can.
Does anyone know the name of this man? His name was Alauddin Khilji. Okay, Manya knows. Sorry, I should have asked you. Okay, Manya, next time. His name was Alauddin Khilji. And Khilji attacked Maharashtra with a very... Can you imagine how many horsemen he had when he attacked Maharashtra? Just 1,200. That's it. With 1,200 horsemen, he attacked the capital city of Maharashtra, which at that time was known as Devgiri. Today, that place is known as Daulatabad. There is a twin city of Aurangabad and Daulatabad if you come to Maharashtra, which was the capital city of Maharashtra during that time, and not Mumbai. So that place was the historic name of Aurangabad is actually Devgiri. And Devgiri was attacked by Alauddin Khilji with mere 1,200 soldiers. And he defeated Devgiri. You know why? How did he defeat the massive kingdom of Devgiri with just 1,200 horsemen? He could do that because the main commander-in-chief, who was also the prince of Devgiri, his name was Shankardev, he had gone for a pilgrimage with 2 lakh of his army. 2 lakh of his army, he goes on a pilgrimage when somebody like Alauddin Khilji has already prepared and staged a massive attack on the state. He is not even aware about it. So what is the failure that we see here? So as we see these Shivaji era, what will actually stand out is the gross mistakes of the rulers that they did. Somebody who is as powerful as Khilji with all his force is driving his forces right from Delhi. He comes to Andhra, he crosses the Vindhya mountains, and till he's crossing Vindhya mountain, nobody even knows that he's attacking Maharashtra. This is a total failure of the spy network. In fact, let's say that the spy network did not even properly exist during that time. So one of the most important things to learn, in fact, the spies are supposed to be the eyes of the king. The king looks at what's happening around through spies. But the kings here in Maharashtra apparently were so much relaxed and so much happy in their religiosity that they did not have alertness. Right? This is the first mistake of our kings, that we lost our alertness. Correct? Even you, as students in the school, you need to be very alert, because the time that we are living in today is extremely bad, and it's ruthless to some extent. And practically, people are just waiting for you to lose your alertness for some time. And the moment you lose your alertness, people are just willing to pounce on you and abuse you and exploit you. The most important part that we learn is to remain alert. Anyway, Shankardev, with his 2 lakh forces, was in the holy place. He was not alert. And with 1200 people, Khilji came and attacked, and he seized the fort of Devgiri. He stopped the supplies of foods inside, and finally the king had to surrender. He not only had to surrender, but he had to give a agreement. He had to make a treaty. Treaty is sort of an agreement that he would be sending. Now that time the measurement of weight was mana. So he made an agreement to send 40 months of gold every year to Khilji. And 50 months of gold every year to Khilji. And 1 month is approximately equal to 40 kgs. So how much is 40 into 50? Anybody? Yes, Haripriya? Sorry, we are not able to hear you. Did you say 200? Not yes, if you said like that. Okay.
200.
Yeah. So 200 kilograms of gold to be sent every year to Delhi. That was the treaty he made. He had to accept it. But Shankardev, outside, he came to know. Now, after all this has happened, Shankardev comes to know that Devgiri has been seized, and now Khilji has already come and attacked. So what were your spies doing, Mr. Shankardev? You did not even come to know that such big thing has happened. Anyways, Shankardev then came and attacked back on the he attacked back on the kingdom, his own kingdom, which was now occupied by Khilji. The king Ramdev Rai, he was so scared because in this entire treaty and everything as when it was happening, Khilji's eyes also fell on the beautiful princess who was the daughter of Ramdev Rai. And Ramdev Rai very happily gave her as in marriage to Khilji. Of course, the particular culture that Khilji belonged to, not that wife had a lot of importance, but in whatever way you want to take it, that girl was given to Khilji. So Ramdev Rai wrote a letter to Shankardev saying that don't come and attack him. Now he is the Jamai, he's the son-in-law of this kingdom. You cannot attack and kill him. So such foolishness and such loss of understanding, So today in the morning we heard a beautiful lecture by Veerchandra Prabhu, and he spoke about Savarkar. So Savarkar has written a very beautiful book on Indian history, and he has coined a term. This particular mentality of those times Indian kings, he coins a term called as Sadguna Vikruti. This is called as Sadguna Vikruti. That means a Sadgun. It's a Sadgun to understand that, oh, I cannot kill my son-in-law because I have given my daughter to him. If I kill him, my daughter will become widow. But Khilji is not a son-in-law whom you should treat like that. You need to understand that. He's a ruthless, you should separately read Khilji's atrocities if you get time, and we don't have time to cover all that. But he's not the one whom you think about like that. It's better to make your daughter widow and finish this person off. But the Sadgun, will not let you do it. And therefore, Savarkar called it a Sadguna Vikruti. It's a Vikruti. That means it's a distorted form of Sadguna, right? So, nevertheless, so Shankara was in two minds. He did not know whether I should attack back, not attack back. And in that confusion, when he attacked, obviously he was again defeated. And now Khilji became very angry. He said, Shankardev again attacked. We had already made a treaty. This is not fair. So now I will increase this particular donation that you need to give to my kingdom every year from 50 to 60 months of gold. And he said that I will also ask a one-time contribution of 200 months of diamonds. That means 4,000 kgs of diamonds. And Elichur, there was one particular area, Elichur, at that time, he said that I have to take this entire province for my own work and for my own revenue. And that also was given. So this was everything was done by Khilji. Okay, Khilji went back to Delhi, and he went back to Delhi, and then, so this 1294 was a time when Khilji first attacked, and he went back to Delhi at around 1301. So after he went back to Delhi in AD 1301, for 3 years, the king did not send any donation. He did not send any contributions, because you cannot send 200 kgs, 240 kgs of gold every year. That's not a joke, right? Ultimately, you have to run a kingdom. Can't be sending 240 kgs of gold every year. It's not possible. So at around 1301, he stopped sending gold. The king was so foolish. He wrote a letter to Alauddin Khilji, and he makes a statement. He says that actually I want to give all this gold to you, but my son Shankardev, he's quite rebellious and he's not agreeing to give anything gold. That's why I'm taking this year. I don't know why he made that foolish statement, but he did. Nevertheless, he made it. Khilji was so angry. He sent his very, very close personal associate. His name was Malik Kafur. And Malik Kafur was sent to Maharashtra. Malik Kafur attacked Maharashtra powerfully. He captured the king. This is the photo of Malik Kafur on the right side. He actually was a eunuch. He was neither man nor a woman. He was a eunuch. And this Malik Kafur had rose to power a lot. And he was his most personal, trusted advisor and commander to Alauddin Khilji. Malik Kafur actually was a Hindu in the past. And he served a particular rich merchant. But he was forcefully converted to Islam and taken back to Delhi. But because of his genuine brightness and smartness, he rose to the power. But he behaved just like all the other tyrants who behaved during that time. So Malik Kafur again attacked back the city of Devagiri. Shankar Rao and the king both fought. They again got defeated. And this time Malik Kafur took the king with him. Well, he took the king with him, but you see, Alauddin Khilji did not do anything to the king. In fact, he rewarded some name to him and sent him back with all respect. Why? Because he knew as long as the king is surviving, I am bound to get 240 kgs of gold every year. If the king dies, the supply dies, because Shankardev is not going to do that. So he said, okay, anyway, Maharashtra is a far off place for me from Delhi. So if the king goes back safe, then I keep getting my sources of gold. But that did not continue, because after some time the king died and Shankardev again came to the power. And Shankardev flatly refused to give any more contributions. So Malik Kafur this time with lot of force and lot of power came again to Maharashtra. Shankardev, despite having a lot of trained forces, again was defeated in the battle. And this time Malik Kafur was so valiant and so cruel that he literally killed every working person in the family, and every woman was kidnapped and taken back. From every beautiful woman was kidnapped and taken back. It was very, very, very massive attack. And that attack was so bad that entire Maharashtra was wiped out. There was complete sorrow all over the land. It was extremely bad situation. And the beautiful glory and the beautiful grace and the beautiful opulence which Maharashtra had was completely finished to ashes and turned into ashes. But just like from the ashes, sometime one small coal still burns and gets the fire. Within 10 years, things changed. Malik Kafur had to go back to Delhi because Khilji was not well and Khilji died. And the other sultans there, they did not approve of Malik Kafur because he was ultimately a slave. He was ultimately a eunuch. So they also killed Malik Kafur. They murdered him. And next Khilji was the Mubarak Khan Khilji. And this Khilji knew that now Shankar Dev has again. Okay, so what happened here is that when Malik Kafur went back, this particular coal, burning coal, which I'm talking about, which rose from the ashes, is King Harpal Dev. This Harpal Dev was actually another son-in-law of Alauddin Khilji. And Harpal Dev gathered the forces, and he was so powerful and tactful that he actually defeated all the forces which lined up here in Maharashtra. So Malik Kafur's force, which was left here, was defeated by Harpal Singh. He captured some other provinces from Karnataka as well, and he actually started ruling. When this news went to this new Sultan, Mubarak Khan again down with huge force. But this time what happened is that something went wrong, and somehow in that battle, Harpal Singh was caught in the hands of Mubarak Khan. And what Mubarak Khan did to him is something which is horrible and obnoxious. It is captured in this picture here. He was kept in boiling oil and his entire skin was removed. And then his body was hanged on the borders of Devgiri for everyone to watch. Very, very, very brutal and very, very, very cruel. And I have taken this picture from this particular website. The address is there. You can go and read further from there. So the beautiful and the valiant son-in-law of Yadav kingdom met a very, very horrible death. And with Harpal Singh Yadav defeated and brutally killed, Maharashtra was completely lifeless and lost of any protection. And this series of atrocities by the Mughal sultans after this, they continued for 250 years. Nobody was able to rise and nobody was able to check them. It was an extremely bad situation. A regular thing. Now, some of these sultans, what different things they did are actually depicted in this small picture. I have taken this from the book of Dr. Shubha Sathe, a book on Shivaji Maharaj with a lot of pictures in it. Those of you who are Marathis, I will request you to read this book. It's a very nice book. Now, I was reading a particular NCERT book on history, and an amazing statement was passed in that under the reigns of sultans, the country flourished in trade and commerce. I would like to challenge that statement, and I want to know from where that particular information has come. Because I want to know what I want to share what these different sultans did all over the India, but especially in Maharashtra. After the death of Harpal Singh, Mubarak Khan was there. Then later on, Mubarak Khan also was killed, and some other sultan came and took in power. One after the other. If you, in this 250 years, if you look at the names of various kings and names of various sultans who has either a remote or direct presence in Maharashtra and controlled the cruelty and the atrocities in Maharashtra, there are 62 of them. Yeah, and I've taken it from Baba Saheb Purandare's book. So 62 names are given. I would like to explain a few things that some of them did, right? And I want to know really if that could have been something which have improved the trade and commerce. So this was about a sultan So there are various types of sultans. So there were the Bahamanis, there were the Adil Shahas, there were the Nizam Shahas, there were these Barid Shahas, there were the Faruqas, there were Khiljis, there were Tughlaqs, there were the Mughals, there were one more. I am not getting the name. And the Bahamanis, yeah. So this person is a Bahamani king. And this Bahamani king, what did he do? He attacked once a kingdom, the kingdom of Telangana. And the prince of this kingdom was Vinayak Dev. After Vinayak Dev was captured and defeated, he cut his tongue in front of everybody in live. And he created a fire in the at the base of a fort, and it threw the king from the top of the fort into that fire, where he was completely finished. Then, just to exhibit his anger, he went out and killed 70,000 people. Why? For no good reason. 70,000. Just so that this was not so enough, he further entered into the borders of Karnataka. And there he did such a massive massacre and killing that the entire province, so when I say province, it is something like Mumbai, right? The entire province became unmanned. That means not a single human being in the entire province. Everyone was killed. So this is just one Bahamani king. His name was Muhammad Shah Bahamani. Muhammad Shah Bahamani Sultan. Another king. This person's name is Alauddin Shah. Okay. This Alauddin Shah, he had a habit. He would go around, and you have seen you have read the story of this Bhomasur in Krishna book, in written by Srila Prabhupada, or it's taken from Mahabharata. It's taken from Bhagavatam actually. This Bhomasur had habit that every beautiful princess of a king or every beautiful daughter of a demigod, he would go and kidnap. And he had kept all these princesses in a fort. And when Lord Krishna went and killed Bhomasur, he actually married all of them, 16,100 them, right? But this particular Alauddin Shah had a similar habit. So he had built one mahal in Konkan province, and there he had kept many such beautiful girls which were kidnapped. Even the great Shankarrao More, a very powerful king who was that time in Konkan, even his beautiful daughter also was given to Alauddin Shah Bahamani. And Alauddin Shah Bahamani has made a statement. The statement is recorded in the history. He says, minimum to massacre or kill a minimum of 1 lakh people is the parampara, is the legacy of my dynasty. This is a statement. To kill minimum 1 lakh people at a time is a legacy of my dynasty. This is a statement. I don't understand how this actually must have improved the trade and commerce. Let's take the third example. This third example is another king. What was his name? This is Humayun Shah. Okay. This Humayun Shah was so cruel that he was also addressed as Zalim. Yeah, this is all documented history. Sorry, I'm not telling anything of my own. These are all documented histories. He is considered so cruel that he was addressed as Zalim by people, and he would actually honor it. I mean, he would be happy if people called him Zalim. And his sankalpa, his vow, was that every beautiful woman who is getting married has to be kidnapped. So people would not get married only in his kingdom, because the moment you stand for marriage, your wife is going to be kidnapped. That was his. And there's one particular temple which he visited. So there is a fort of Kondapalli, and this fort of Kondapalli was conquered by this Humayun Shah. And this Humayun Shah, when he entered in the fort of Kondapalli, he saw a beautiful temple. And that temple had many, many Brahminical priests. He personally went inside that temple and cut the Brahminical priests into pieces by his own sword, with his own hand. Then he further went. Okay, after he does this, his wazir, whose name was, forgot his name, it's mentioned here, Pawan something. His name is Pawan. Gawan. Yeah, Gawan. His name is Muhammad Gawan. So Muhammad Gawan, after he performed this activity of killing these Brahmanas with his own sword and cutting them to pieces, he says that our king is the most cultured, merciful, and munificent. Right? The description of Humayun Shah has been given as the most cultured, munificent, and most merciful. Why? For killing Brahmanas into pieces with his own hand. So this is just 3 sultans that I talked about. In a very sarcastic way, Baba Sahib Purandare in his book Raja Shiva Chhatrapati mentions that during the time of Ram and during the time of Krishna, there was perhaps just one Ravan who came about. And during the time of Krishna, maybe there was just one Kala Yavan who came about and attacked the city of Dwarka. But on the state of Maharashtra, there are 62 Kala Yavanas, one after other, lined up, doing unlimited atrocities. Yet, our historical books mention that during the reign of sultans, the trade and commerce improved. I fail to understand what is the meaning of this particular statement. Anyway, and just so that this was not all going well, a very, very dreadful incident happened. So the mother of Shivaji Maharaj, Jizabai, father of Shivaji Maharaj, Shahaji Raje, his brother, his name was Kheoji Raje. So Kheoji Raje Bhosle was one of the Sardars, one of the soldiers in the army of Ali Adil Shah. But one day, another Sardar, his name was Muhammad Khan, he went when the wife of this Kheoji Raje had gone to take bath. This Muhammad Khan went and he just grabbed, forcibly picked her up and took her into his harem. Harem is a place where many beautiful women were kept by these sultans. The reason I am sharing this particular picture is that if this was the story of somebody who's already a Sardar, who's already serving as a soldier, his wife was not safe, then what to speak of wives of ordinary people who are the farmers and staying in huts. So it was a massive, 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 horrible situation, right? After the appearance of Shivaji Maharaj, most of this nonsense was stopped. That is the contribution of Shivaji. But before we go into that, I want to speak something more. And now here is what we are going to enter into a story. Now, just so that all these atrocities which are done by these different sultans and Bahamanis and the Mughals who came one after the other, as if it was just less, there was one more very powerful foreign power that was creating havoc in the land of India, and that power was the Portuguese. Now, I don't know to what extent our history books are actually able to explain the atrocities of the Portuguese. But somebody wants to admit. Can I admit? I don't know who's this person. Mataji, maybe you can check and then admit this person.
Done, Prabhu. Done.
Yeah. And just so that all these and our history books fail to understand the atrocities, but there is a book written by Mr. Priolkar. He was himself a freedom fighter and activist, and the name of his book is Inquisition, the Goa Inquisition. I request you to read that book. Sorry, not children, but the parents of the children can read it and try to understand actually what happened in Goa. I am going to share a few things in the next slide. So on the right side, you see this person who is known as Saint Xavier. Very famous name. If you are somebody in Mumbai, it is very unlikely that you would have known this name of Saint Xavier. This is how Saint Xavier is depicted in the pictures. Saint Xavier wrote a letter to the to the King of Portugal, and the Queen of Spain. And this is what he writes in the letter. He says, within a month, I managed to convert over 10,000 men, women, and children in the kingdom of Travancore and change their names to Portuguese names. After baptizing these new Christians, I would order them to desecrate their deities and altars at home. Desecrate means destroy or break. He would order them to desecrate their deities and altars at home. In this way, traveling from one village to another, I converted people to Christianity. This is his own letter. It's taken from his own letter. And there was this Francois, I forgot his name, a French traveler, Francois somebody. I'll try to get the name. He has actually given in his travel accounts the atrocities which were committed by these missionaries on the people of Goa. And some of the atrocities and forcing them to convert to Christianity, some of the atrocities I have given them here in the pictures. These are the pictures which are found in the French archives on the records. On the first, you see this man has been forced to lie on the bed and there's a fire kept under his feet. His feet are actually being burnt and he's being forced to convert into Christianity. There was another place, you see the Brahmins, their heads are being forcibly cut and their hands and legs are being broken. If you go to Goa, in one particular place, there is a pillar, and I forgot to put the picture of the pillar here in this picture. The pillar is known as a Hat Katro Khamb. Right? This Hat Katro Khamb is actually a pillar of an old Shiva temple. The old Shiva temple is completely demolished and destroyed. Just that Khamb is there. That pillar is there. The pillar was known as Hat Katro Khamb. So anybody who would not agree to become Catholic, their hands would be tied like this behind the pillar, and they would be twisted and twisted and twisted until the hands break. That was the punishment, and that Kham was still, and that Kham is still there in Goa. It's called as the Hat Katro Kham. If you ever visit to Goa, don't just go and see the beaches and the beautiful beaches. Also try to visit Hat Katro Kham. In the third picture, you see a beautiful plant of tulsi being destroyed. So there were orders passed that you cannot plant tulsi at home. And if you have tulsi, your house will be destroyed and the tulsi will be completely, so they're destroying the tulsi Vrindavan. And in the fourth picture, you see another type of atrocity being committed, something being nailed into his hands or whatever, right? And in Priolkar's book, if you read the different atrocities, you cannot even read them. It is inhuman. It is absolutely inhuman. And this was rampantly going on in Goa. And one fine day, and this happened during the time of Shivaji Maharaj. Okay. So now we will directly move to the time when Shivaji Maharaj was himself there. And Shivaji Maharaj was traveling the place called as Bardes. Now, Bardes is actually a province near Goa. I think it's the North Goa. The old name of North Goa is Bardes. So Shivaji Maharaj was traveling in the province of Bardes. And some people came there and they said that there is a complaint coming from the nearby village. Shivaji Maharaj said, yeah, what is the complaint? What is the complaint that is coming? So they said that the viceroy here, so viceroy actually is a representative of the king. That time the viceroy was known as Viceroy. So they said the Viceroy, his name was Saint Count Vincent. So Saint Count Vincent issued a law. He said in the province of Bardes, only Catholics are allowed to own the land. If you are not a Catholic, then your land will be confiscated by the government. And your land and houses will be confiscated by the government. This was a law passed by Saint Count Vincent, viceroy. Now, what does it mean? Now, you imagine all of you are staying happily in your homes. Some of you are, I was there in the morning, some of you are from Nasik, some of you are from Pune. You get a notice one day, like that on your building, that only people of so and so religion are allowed to stay in this building, else you should vacate your houses. Where will you go? Where will you take your business? And those people who are farmers, for them the land is a source of income, right? Today, if somebody comes and says, okay, please vacate this building, I can just go, I can sit in a taxi and I can go somewhere and buy another house, because all my wealth and all my money is in the bank. I know nobody's going to charge the bank, nobody's going to ask me to leave my job. My job is still there. But you cannot do with that land. You cannot zip your land into a folder and take along with you in a pen drive, and then again unzip it and make into another land and start growing food on it, right? You cannot do that. So if the land is a source of income, you cannot do anything. You need to give. That means if the land is taken, you are beggar the next day. You are on the streets. You have nothing to feed your family, right? That particular law was so strong that out of 10,000 people, 7,000 already agreed to get converted into Catholic religion. 3,000 were still remaining. And they sent a letter because they came to know Shivaji Maharaj is visiting nearby. So they sent some people and they said, Shivaji Maharaj, can you please help us? Whoever said, oh, is it? Is that the rule? Never mind. So Shivaji Maharaj and his soldiers came to Bardes. They captured Bardes. They captured all the villages of the Bardes. Defeated the so-called small Portuguese people who were put there for fighting. Finished all of them. Then he grabbed all the people of the village in front of him. And he asked the question, okay, who are the people who are making this law? Can you please tell us who are the people who are making this law? So some of the villages started pointing towards some Jesuit priests who were there. Now, Jesuits is actually a sect within Christianity which is supposed to be very, very orthodox, and they are very, very, very strong and what they call is cutter. So there were 3 or 4 Jesuits who were there in that crowd. And the people, humbly and fearfully started pointing fingers to these Jesuits. Said these people, these are the people who are actually, and they work for the Viceroy, and they are actually in the forefront of all this conversion and all this forcible which is happening. So Shivaji Maharaj said, oh, good, get all those 4 people in front of me. So Shivaji Maharaj took those Jesuits in front of him. And this is a painting. This painting is there in one museum in Goa. And you can see these Jesuits here, captured by the people of Shivaji Maharaj, right? And Shivaji Maharaj is standing there. This is an actual painting. This is there in Goa. And this was what Shivaji Maharaj told them. So he made a very simple proposal. He told the Jesuits, he said, you are standing on our land. You are eating our food and drinking our water and accepting the hospitality of our own people. Correct? So all of you are missionaries. You are eating the food of our land. You are drinking the waters of our rivers, and you are accepting the wonderful hospitality of our people. He said, are you willing to accept our religion? Give a choice. You are doing everything here that belongs to us. So why don't you even accept the religion that we have and the culture that we have? The Shakkas and the Hunas and everybody in the past have done this. Can you also do it, please, for us? And what did the Jesuits say? You feel? They flatly refused. Obviously. They said, sorry, we cannot do that. They flatly refused. Shivaji Maharaj, in one order, got them beheaded. Their heads were cut apart from their body. They were put in a basket and sent to the Viceroy who made that law. He said, this is the gift from Shivaji Maharaj that has come to you. And the Viceroy was so scared to death that he immediately took the law behind. Not only he took the law behind, he was so scared that he immediately wanted to finish all the atrocities. And then he sent a team of the Portuguese officers to Shivaji Maharaj and entered a treaty. And here you see the Portuguese officers and Shivaji Maharaj and the treaty being signed. In December 1667, a treaty was signed with Shivaji, as per which Portuguese will not help any of the Shivaji's enemies. Number 1, Portuguese will not help any of the Shivaji's enemies. Hindus will be given the protection and freedom to follow their religion, tradition, and rituals, right? So they can plant tulsi if they want to, they can worship the deities if they want to, and everything can go on very happily if they want to. Hindus will be given full freedom to follow their religion, tradition, and rituals. In this raid, and Portuguese also took back their decision of expulsion of Hindus. That means this law of, okay, you have to be of so and so religion, only then we will keep you in the village, then only we'll allow you. No, no, no. All those laws were immediately taken back. In this raid of Bardes, Shivaji got 150 million worth of rupees, and religious convergence of Hindus in Goa was completely stopped due to fear of Shivaji. This is documented fact. I'm just sharing with you. Right? Somehow our books do not depict these particular stories. I don't know why they don't depict it, but I felt it was important to give them this particular thing, right? So I want to ask all of you, what is the technique that is used by Shivaji Maharaj here to ensure that the atrocity is completely stopped? Can anybody explain to me? And with that, I will end my presentation, and then I will open for Q&A session. Okay, Haripriya has raised hand. Yes, Haripriya. You can unmute and speak.
Prabhuji, warnings.
Warnings, okay. Anything else? Okay, Namaha is there. Yes, Namaha.
So I did not understand the part in why they had to like capture the girls, the women and all.
Yeah, you actually, I'm sorry, you're probably too small to understand it better. But that's how their strategy was. They would just go on doing it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the part of their cruelty. There is no reason for it. I know for a small child, it's very difficult to understand. Yeah. And it's very difficult to understand even for a grown-up man like me that why did they do it? But they did it. That's why it is cruelty. Right?
Okay.
And that had to be punished. And that cruelty continued in Maharashtra for 250 to 300 years. Can you imagine? That means you sleep in the night, and when you get up, you don't know whether your mother is going to be next to you. That is the horror which all children lived in Maharashtra for 300 years. That will make you appreciate the contribution of Shivaji Maharaj more. All this nonsense stopped after he came to power. Right? Haripriya, yes. You have something to ask or speak or say.
Yes, Prabhuji, I have a question. Prabhuji, how can a person be happy when he's called a Zalim?
So that's how the demonic nature is, right? Like if in the time of Ramachandra, if you know the three demons which Ramachandra killed at the time of in Dandakaranya, you know, Khara, Dushan, and Trishir, right? These are the three demons which were killed. What is the meaning of Khara?
Real?
Khara means what? No. That is sorry. That Khara is in Marathi word Khara. No. Khara is a Sanskrit word. What is the meaning of the word Khara? Okay, Khara means actually an ass, a donkey. So the demon is taking pride in being called as donkey. Is there any human being who can be proud of that? Somebody, you go to school and somebody calls you, ass or a donkey. Would you be happy about it? No. But demons, they feel a lot of pride. They feel that, oh, it's a qualification. So Khara was very happy that he was being called as Khara. I'm like an ass. Yes, I'm like an ass. So what? I'm like an ass, still you're afraid of me. That's my greatness. And what is the meaning of Dushan? Dushan means pollution. Can somebody like to be called as Dushan? So people have name like Bhushan. Bhushan is a nice name. Right? So Bhushan is a good name. But suppose one Bhushan goes to school and everyone starts calling him, hey, Dushan, Dushan Aya, Dushan Aya. How will he feel? Dushan means pollution, right? But the Dushan demon in Dandakaranya was extremely proud of having that name. Wow, my name is Dushan, yeah, like that. Very happy, very blissful that he's called as Dushan. Similar with his guy, he was Zalim. So the Zalim was his qualification. He was saying that, wow, people are so scared of me. I'm so great.
Was it like that, that in their language it would be something else? It would
Sorry?
mean something else. Like in the Muslim, in their language, it would mean something else. The word Zalim.
No, Zalim is the word from their language only.
Oh.
Zalim is not a Sanskrit word. And Zalim means cruel. And he knew that it means cruel, but he used to like it. Right? That's how people are. You need to understand. Now, you're all small children, probably. Once you grow up and start understanding how people are, you'll get to know crazy people who like to be honored and called as by weird names. Right?
Thank
I
you.
don't know. Maybe you can hear certain weird t-shirts and all of people, and people putting horrible things. No, I can't even mention those words here in this assembly of nice, beautiful children. What people speak on their t-shirts and what do they say, right? But you can go and see for yourself, right? Just move around, be observant, and see what's happening. That's what I was saying in the beginning. Be alert what's happening around you. Be alert, right? Never lose the alertness. The mistake which our kings did, they lost alertness. And the principle which Shivaji Maharaj always kept very close to his heart is alertness. He was so alert, so alert. What is that line? Savadhapane Nrupavara. I forgot. In the letter which was written by Ramdas Swami, he mentions this word. Glorify Shivaji Maharaj as Savadhapane Nrupavara. You are so careful, you are so alert. Ramdas Swami, he would say this line, remembering Shivaji Maharaj. He would say that पहिले ते हरिकथा निरूपण, दुसरे ते राजकारण, आणि तिसरे सावधपण. Like that he would say, right? And Shivaji Maharaj demonstrated all these three things in his life. And maybe in the next session that we will take some teachings of his life, right? So what is this? Pahle te Harikatha Nirupan. What is the first thing one should do? Harikatha Nirupana. That means understanding Harikatha. Today in the morning, so wonderfully, Veerchandra Prabhu said that every person who is a freedom fighter, their inspiration has been Lord Krishna. Right? How is it like that? Can anyone tell me? See, Lord Krishna's personality, if you just for a minute ignore that he's Supreme Personality of Godhead, just for the time being, just forget this fact. If you see, his life is full of revolution, right? In fact, the book which is written on Lord Krishna, which is dedicatedly written only on Lord Krishna, is Srimad Bhagavatam. And in Bhagavatam, when Narad Muni is glorifying the importance of Bhagavatam to Vyasadeva, what does he call Bhagavatam? What does he address Bhagavatam as? He says, Tad Vag Visargo Janataga Viplavo. Right? The beautiful shloka glorifying Bhagavatam. What is the meaning of Janataga Viplavo? That means that which will cause a revolution in the heart of sinful people. So Bhagavatam is a book that causes revolution in the heart of sinful people. And Bhagavatam is all about Lord Krishna, because Lord Krishna's life is all about revolution. The first revolution, he stopped the Indra Puja. Right? Everyone is worshipping Lord Indra. That's a by de facto. Everyone has to do it. But Lord Krishna comes and says, hey, stop. I don't want all this. Why? Let's worship Govardhan. Correct? Revolution. Revolutionary thoughts. Lord Ramchandra. The citizens were talking about Lord Ramchandra, and they said that, how is Lord Ramchandra still with Mother Sita, who was kidnapped by Ravan? And how is living with her like that? Lord Ramchandra took it so seriously that he arranged for Sita to leave and go into Valmiki Muni's ashram. Right? He did not continue staying with her. But Lord Krishna, 16,100 women, we already spoke, captured by Bhaumasur. One woman captured by Ravan, and here 16,100 women captured by Bhaumasur. And Lord Ramchandra left that woman, but Krishna married all those 16,100 women, 16,100 women. That is Krishna. He is a revolutionary, right? His thoughts are revolutionary. His acts are completely revolutionary. Why is his thoughts and acts completely revolutionary, right? It is hidden in his name only, and this is the contribution that we got from Srila Prabhupada. And I will say this last thing, and we can end here. We see Srila Prabhupada always told us the definition of the name Krishna, and he gave the definition as given by Parashar Muni. And he said, what is this word Krishna mean? He said there are two words, Krish and there is Rina. What is the word Krish is indicating? Krish means attraction, akarshan. Krushir bhuvachaka shabdo, nasya nirvrutti vachaka. That is the verse given by Parashar Muni. So Krush is attraction. So whenever you speak of attraction and attachment, it is always referred to bondage and slavery. People who are attached, people who are absorbed, people who are attracted to wrong things, they get ultimately fall into slavery. The attraction and attachment is generally referred to and generally contributed as slavery or bondage, correct? But what kind of attraction, Krishna? What kind of this Krish attraction is there? Nasya nirvrutti vachaka. This na indicates nirvana. It indicates nirvrutti. It indicates complete freedom, right? So that attachment and that attraction which gives complete freedom, when you combine the two words, tayor aikyam, when you combine the two words, param brahma Krishna iti abhidiyate. The combination, Krishna is himself made up of two completely contradictory things, attraction and freedom simultaneously. That attraction which gives one complete freedom, freedom from Maya Devi, that is Lord Krishna. Therefore, any revolutionary, if he is a serious revolutionary, he has to have connection with the teachings of Krishna and Bhagavad Gita. And if somebody is following the teachings of Krishna and Bhagavad Gita, there has to be an element of revolution in that person's heart. If it is not there, then maybe you are not following Krishna very nicely. This is my humble understanding. Okay. So that's how. So pahle te Harikatha Nirupana. So if you are doing Harikatha Nirupana, you understand what is revolution. You understand what you need to do. And says Dusre te Rajakaran. And use that Harikatha Nirupan in your politics. So even Srila Prabhupada once wrote a letter to Indira Gandhi. He said that before the assembly in the parliament, everyone should read 1 hour Srimad Bhagavatam. Why? Because Pahle Harikatha Nirupana, Dusre te Rajakaran. And then these two things are not enough. Tisre Savadhapan. Third thing is to be alert. What's happening around? And Shivaji Maharaj invested maximum money into this principle of alertness. The spy network of Shivaji Maharaj was the best in the entire Maharashtra. And the highest paid people in Shivaji Maharaj's kingdom were his spies. And Shivaji Maharaj would get to know. One letter is written by Aurangzeb to one of his fort Kiledars. What is the content of the letter that Shivaji Maharaj would get to know sitting in Rajgarh? And he would already write another letter to another person, say, this is already mentioned by Aurangzeb, please be careful. And he would write a letter like that. This is all recorded in the history. That was his alertness. That was the level of his alertness. Because he understood Krishna Niti, he understood Lord Krishna. He understood Chanakya Niti. He understood Chanakya. This was a mistake by our kings. And that's why defeat after defeat after defeat from the Sultani powers. But Shivaji Maharaj understood them so well. He understood them so well. He understood the psychology so well. Right? And some other days we can actually go on and understand few of the specific achievements of Shivaji Maharaj and what different techniques were used. I will just end with one particular fact. And I heard this in a lecture of Ninad Bedekar sir. Right? Now here we are discussing that whether discussing Shivaji Maharaj is important or not, whether school should write about Shivaji Maharaj or not. There is a West Point Military Academy in United States of America. What is the name of the academy? West Point. Most of the topmost generals of United States Army are from the West Point Academy. Most of the topmost generals who fought in the Second World War successfully belong to the West Academy, right? West Academy has 2 sand models of Indian battles. There are unlimited sand models in West Point Academy and dioramas depicting various Indian battles. And they study the strategies used in the Indian battles. And one of the battle which is there, and this is a classified information. People don't know it, but I heard it in one lecture of Ninad Bedekar sir. One of the diorama is of Shivaji Maharaj killing Afzal Khan. The diorama of Shivaji Maharaj killing Afzal Khan is there in the West Point Academy of United States of America. And the second is the Palkhed battle of Bajirao. And if we get any time, we should definitely discuss these 2 events of killing of Afzal Khan and the Palkhed battle in great detail. But for that, you probably have to go a little more old. Maybe after 1 or 2 years, we will discuss it so that you understand all the aspects of these 2 battles. But they are brilliant. They are brilliant. You can imagine they are still being discussed in world over as one of the best battle tactics that ever happened. Killing of Afzal Khan and the Battle of Palkhed, where Nizamul Mulk was completely defeated by Bajirao. Okay, Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for your participation. Hari Bol.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Prahladpriya Prabhu, for investing so much of your time and history in our children. And you know what is very appreciative is you are able to connect the teachings of Lord Krishna to our freedom struggle, to what our children need to do. We need to be spiritually absorbed. We also need to be politically alert and socially sensitive at the same time, as Govind keeps on saying.
This is the same Marathi exim of Ramdas Swami. He translated it in English.
Yeah.
Pahle te Hari Katha Nirupana, dusre te Rajakarna, tisre Savatpana. That's what is translated in English.
Yeah. In fact, going to that students, the purpose of education should be to inculcate all these 3 in our children. Sometimes we are more focused on spiritual subjects and we forget the importance of being socially sensitive or being politically alert. But this is what we have seen in the lives of freedom fighters like Shivaji Maharaj. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for investing so much of your time from a busy schedule. And we look forward to having you again with some more stories inspiring our children to live the legacy of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.